Dragon's Rising has had some really good mysteries so far, all of which have been built up and set up in some really interesting ways, but for one mystery that I'm the most intrigued by is the question of who Raza's master is. So far, Raza's master has been teased very little. All we know so far is that they taught Raz all there is to know about strength, and they seem to be some sort of ultra-powerful being, since they seem to be able to teleport an entire dojo elsewhere, and seem to talk to Raz similarly to a Source Dragon. The obvious answer here is that Raza's master is a Source Dragon, right? Specifically the Source Dragon of Strength. There are a lot of things we can use to prove this as well, because what kind of being would have the power to teleport an entire dojo and army away? Or hell, when they are teleported away, it has the exact same sound effect as when the Source Dragons use their power. And the way Raz seems to communicate with them is exactly the same to how Lloyd communicates with the Source Dragons. So it seems like an easy answer to say that Raz's master is a Source Dragon, right? Well, you would be wrong, because if Raz's master is a Source Dragon, there are a lot of issues that start to form within the plot of Dragon's Rising. If Raz's master is a Source Dragon, then they can see everything that's happened, and can see potential futures. The main problem that arises from this is the ritual of the Blood Moon, because if you really think about it, Raz probably could have won the Tournament of Sorcerers with just Cinder, because the ninja would have no idea how to fight him or counter his Shatter Spin. Hell, the other EMs that Raz recruited like Frack or Jay would absolutely have won as well. My point is that as far as we know, Raz had no particular reason to free the Forbidden Five for the Tournament of Sorcerers, because anything they could have accomplished could also be achieved by any other elemental master with a wolf mask. This would make Raz's team fare way better as well, because if they hadn't tried to free the five, Raz wouldn't have gotten the ninja involved, and would have most likely achieved his goals with ease. With the ninja having the time to learn Rising Dragon technique, they actually had a way to fight back against Raz's team, making the whole Shatter Spin thing pretty useless, and making the whole process of freeing the five simply not worth it. The only real way to explain Raz wanting to free the five is his master having ulterior motives, so I want to talk about them and see what those motives could be. Now, just a quick warning, the next portion of this video will contain spoilers for Dragon's Rising Season 3, but all the info presented in this section will have been shown in various clips and teasers by LEGO officially, so with that said, let's get into it. There will be no mention of descriptions or any leaks in this. Dragon's Rising Season 3 introduces a new character called Thunderfang. If you don't already know, Thunderfang is a veteran from the Onion Dragon War. Because of his war victories, he felt entitled to becoming a Source Dragon, but for one reason or another, he was denied the rank. After attacking the City of Temples, dedicated to worshipping the Source Dragons, he was imprisoned in the First Realm, where he was later found by the Forbidden Five in the present day, and Thunderfang reveals that he's the one who gave the five their powers. He has this all planned out since the beginning, and after this, he sends them to
find the blades, set me free.
So let's just get this all in order real quick. Thunderfang is someone who wants to be a Source Dragon, was rejected, and now seeks revenge against them. He's absolutely supposed to be a Source Dragon wannabe with how he can grant elemental powers to people, in this case for Forbidden 5, and is presumably extremely powerful. Raz's master, on the other hand, is presumed to be a Source Dragon, but despite his foresight wants the five to be freed. Do you see what I'm getting at here? I think that Thunderfang is absolutely a candidate to be Raz's master, and it would fix a lot of my issues with the setup we have at the moment. Raz's master being Thunderfang pretty perfectly explains why Raz set out to free the five, because Thunderfang foreseeing all of this so that he's freed makes complete sense if you consider that he's empowered these specific guys to free him, and it would make complete sense if he wanted his champions to free him with the prismatic blades. On top of all of this, Raz's master wants to dominate the Source Dragons, which is absolutely what Thunderfang is setting out to do with how poorly he took the rejection. Raz's master being Thunderfang would also fix a lot of potential problems with the plotline. If Raz's master is a Source Dragon, presumably the Source Dragon of Strength, and can see the future, then he would have foresaw Raz getting punked by Noct at the end of part 2. The problem this causes is an incredibly convoluted game of 4D chess between Raz's master and Thunderfang, which will either make no sense whatsoever, or have a bunch of potholes, presumably both at the same time. It would also be incredibly silly if Thunderfang's entire revenge plan against literal gods hinged on a third party led by another cosmic being freeing him, so that he could in turn release carnage on the world and try and kill the gods, who in this case would be Raz's master. Unless Raz's master somehow foresaw all of this and it's playing into his hand, but then wouldn't Thunderfang have foresaw all of this? Do you see what I'm getting at? It's incredibly convoluted and confusing, and I think that this has a lot of potential to cause problems for the show. The final thing that I want to bring up on why this would work is the fact that Thunderfang is absolutely supposed to be a wannabe Source Dragon. Now, I've mentioned this already, but all of the things that we've seen with Raz's master heavily imply that he's a Source Dragon. but it absolutely could be someone who's a wannabe Source Dragon and wants to become one. Sure, Raza's master would only be a pale imitation of a Source Dragon's, but it would also explain why Raza needed to capture the Source Dragon of Energy to open the Shadow Dojo, because obviously Thunderfang wouldn't have access to that kind of power. With what we've seen as well, Thunderfang would absolutely have the power required to move the Shadow Dojo, and it would explain why the energy sounded exactly like a Source Dragon when it was moved. All of it seems to line up pretty well, so I think it's a pretty plausible option if I'm being honest. Now, right about now, you might be asking yourself this. But Plastic, if Raza's master of Thunderfang, then why does Raza talk about strength so much? Thunderfang's a dragon of chaos, not strength. To which I say this. Thunderfang absolutely idolizes the Source Dragons with how poorly he took their rejection, so it makes complete sense that he would honor their principles and push them onto a student. I'm assuming strength is the most important to Thunderfang since it's the one he's put onto Raza the most, but it does make sense that he's teaching Raza the principles of the Source Dragons if he clearly idolizes these guys. All in all, I really do hope that Thunderfang is Raza's master because it would be a really good subversion of what they've set up, and it would be far more interesting than his master being the Source Dragon of Strength. I'm really excited to see what they did with Thunderfang in Season 3 as well, because despite my worries for the season, he seems like a really solid villain. I am really excited to see him in action. Thank you so much to everyone who's watched this video all the way to the end. I know I keep saying this, but it genuinely means so much, and I cannot express how grateful I am to you guys. This channel has been doing really well so far, and it genuinely means the world to me that you guys have been giving me so much love and support. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye for now.
When you feel tight, look at yourself. Inside your heart, you will find a special place to align.